All right.
Awesome.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the show. I'm Joe, and I get to play the host today. And this is the absolute best part of my every week. I have the honor and great privilege today of spending some time with, I'm going to say, a friend, an amazing woman of wonder, the president of Phoenix College, Dr. Kimberly Britt. Dr. B, thanks for joining us today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here with you. Good morning. Yeah, it's morning here.
Who knows when this thing will be kind of dropped in, but hey, I need to point something out right away to our viewers. You are one of the most compassionate, is that what they do? And strategic leaders that I know. You typically get one or the other, right? In this business, you get the compassionate protector, right? The one who doesn't care too much about rocking any boats, right? And then you have those straight up disruptors, right? Who rock and may even just roll that boat right over uh, to dump out those that are slowing them down. I know the depth of your competence and I know the depth of your credibility. It shines in all of your work, and in your scoreboard. I mean, you're a results driven campus. What I would say is you truly care about students, but I think overall, in general, you care about humans. You care
Yeah.
about humans. There's this thing that you created called Britt's Bears. Hmm. I want to drill into that before we even get started. What is it, and where did the idea come from?
During my first year as a president, I founded Britt's Bears. It's an acronym. Well, first of all, our mascot is a bear. Bumstead is his name, which I think is great. But BEARS is an acronym for Brilliant, Extraordinary, and Resilient Students. And it was designed to be the social glue, if you will, for former foster youth
Mm,
who are trying to find their way. At a large institution, a large urban institution, we found that the pandemic, as we all know, it hurt many populations, but
yeah.
we found that it nearly emaciated our foster youth. Phoenix College had a robust foster youth program prior to the pandemic that was about 275 students, depending on how we count that. And that had dropped down to around 40 students who
That is a
were
drop.
in our coaching, yeah, in our coaching program. And so, the pandemic really drove a lot of people into survival mode, and it nearly eradicated the really formal foster youth program. So our foster youth program that we had really had a lot of coaching and emergency supports. And what I wanted to do was stand up the social component
Mm,
to really help
mhm.
our foster youth have some of those fun experiences. I, having been a former foster youth, this was kind of my passion project. And I spent time in a group home for foster youth, and that was very impactful for me as a young person. And then I spent time in foster care and as well as in kinship care. And so I think as someone who lived in poverty, who lived in a foster home and stumbled her way to the presidency, I haven't forgotten that. I haven't forgotten that pain, that
Mm.
fear. And so I really wanted to build something that allowed me as a president to have time with these foster youth. And so Britt's Bears, I have a luncheon with these students. And what I say to them is if you were never adopted, you are now, you are my bear, and you now
That
have a
is
home.
amazing. That is
So
amazing.
I spend time with these foster youth. We go to uh, baseball games together, basketball games, hockey games, and we're in the bougie booths together, and we have meals catered, and so they get to experience something really special. And some of them are just there, and they're on their phones, and they're beside me. and that's what they can give in that moment. And I had one youth who lives in downtown Phoenix, and he said, "I've lived here all my life, and I've never been in the Sun Stadium. Thank you." And to see what that does for them, Joe,
Ooh.
is moving and is powerful and is moving for me.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
gonna have to
but
take my glasses off here
but
pretty
he
soon.
comes and
That's
he sees me every semester, and you know, I'm a symbol for them to keep going. That they believe that even though life has done things to me that were unfair,
yeah.
you, you're my beacon of hope,
Oh my
and
goodness.
not just for youth who've been in foster care, but youth who've experienced pain. And so I try to be that beacon on the hill, and use what has occurred in my life to just be that symbol of hope for our students. I often tell them at orientation, hey, just so you know, I barely got a C in English 101, but I did go on to get a master's degree in English. So I find that authenticity and humility with our students to say that, rocky starts can also lead to beautiful endings.
Oh my god, right there. I mean, we could
Yeah,
just this thing is
yeah,
done, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
yeah,
Rocky starts can lead because you're an
yeah,
example. I think that your students are migrating to your campus, one, for a sense of belonging, for a sense of just a meaningful experience, for a place of safety, a place of security, and you're emblematic of and a place where I can be successful.
yeah,
Kimberly, you are emblematic of all of those things wrapped up in an imperfect person, right? That is vulnerable enough to go, here's
yeah.
where I started. The origin of what you think is this, you know, it's real, it's genuine,
Sure.
and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for that. You're running a campus of over 17,000 students, and maybe it's even more so because I your numbers are continuing to grow. You've got oodles of programs, hundreds of 150 plus programs, and one of Arizona's largest and most diverse colleges. I mean, and not only that, but you're also one of the highest performing as you look at some of the metrics, and you've gotten some seals of some real credible organizations coming in saying you check a lot of amazing boxes. So your leadership speaks for itself, right? And you're the first one, because I know, because I've experienced it. You're the first one to say, "Well, I'm the president, but all of this really comes from the team that I have in place here." Right, the supports and the conditions that they cascade across the depth of our campus. Speak a little bit about just how, when you came in, what year was that as president?
I've been here as president 3 years. I came in as vice president for academic affairs, and I was only in that role for 11 months before I
Yes.
found myself serving as president.
Isn't it
Um,
amazing how people quickly can find exemplary
yeah,
talent and move them into position? So over the
yeah.
course of basically 4 years, you have, and I don't use the word transformation hardly ever, because in the minds of many campus leaders, that's working through some policies, that's just kind of rearranging some furniture and HR, and no, you've created a different mental model on campus.
Yeah, Phoenix College. It was funny when I was interviewing. Oh, it's not funny, but it's interesting when I was interviewing. It was the question that I was asked again and again. As you know, when you're interviewing for presidencies, you interview with different constituent groups, and I kept getting this question: how are you going to deal with these difficult faculty or this difficult institution? And what I have found is that Phoenix College is not filled with difficult people. It is a college that is filled with very high performers with high expectations. And obviously, if you've ever been a gifted and talented teacher, you can't just come in and give them, you can't run a correspondence class.
Right.
I've got a
Right.
bunch of high achievers on my hands here who want to be involved, who want to be engaged. These are not people who want to be controlled. They truly want to be led. And if you understand that as a leader, and you're able to truly lead them as opposed to try to control them, then you'll be successful. And
Mm.
so I've built a leadership team and filled my executive bench with leaders who understand that. And in higher ed, we call that shared governance. But I would say of all the Maricopa colleges, we are the most mature in our shared governance model. And I think some of that is that, I'm a very confident person, but I am not a person with this big ego. Some people would tell you probably I need a little more ego. I take the role of the presidency very seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously. I'm a little bit of a jokester and
You're
a
really fun to be
prankster.
around with.
I,
You are
I, I
absolutely off the charts, one of the most fun people to be around with. Yeah, because
but
you love what you do,
I
because you
do.
love the mission of what you get to do.
I love the mission, but I also care for the people here very much. What I do for my students, I also do for my employees and my staff in a very real, genuine, and authentic way. You know, in sharing my story with my students, I've also shared much of my heart and soul with my team. About 5 years ago now, I lost my daughter to suicide. And in sharing that story, which, I know people who've buried a child, they never walk back from that. I know friends who've lost friends to suicide, they never recover from that. And as we focus on mental health and well-being for our students and our employees, when I've had the courage to share that story and really be real and vulnerable and authentic with people of how you walk back from that kind of hell,
Mm.
it impacts people and it allows people to be that real and vulnerable with their employees. And that has changed the culture of Phoenix College. We joined Achieving the Dream, and
Yes.
my team, they call me Britt. They don't call me President Britt. Some of them will call me Dr. Britt at a formal event, but they call me Britt because I try to level the no rank in the room here. That I believe in leading from the field. I believe in walking beside my team. And in taking that approach at Phoenix College, I have created this culture of incredible trust. In taking that rank out of the room, we are able to move forward with incredible speed. There is this unity and cohesion and collaboration where I've taken an institution that were troublemakers, that were the problem children, that we're now really moving the institution forward in a real cohesive way, and where I'm able to lead them, not control them, and
Yes.
that we have incredible buy-in. And so after being here for 3 years, we earned the seal of excellencia. And that is all of us working on our student success agenda together.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not going to say that you walked into an underperforming organization,
no,
but I think you were very, very quick to shine a light on all that was good and productive and eliminate maybe some of your own bias because you may have been told a different story. You have edited a story, and maybe even more so, just tabula rasa began to write a new story on campus. And that is so inspiring the heart. Yes, that's one thing, but modeling that way is
sure.
the actionable part of all of that. So,
I shined a
so
light
much
on
to
the
share.
excellence and
Yeah.
allowed people to be the high performers and shifted that narrative. And in doing that, that's what they're doing is their excellence is leading the way and has calmed the chaos. It's truly an extraordinary place. And I think the interim president who preceded me, who's now the president of Joliet Junior College, Dr. Namuo, he started that. And as he was transitioning to that presidency, I mean, he brought me in here and we were kind of like Batman and Robin for a
Yes.
bit, and just truly a perfect pairing. He started that and then, really passed me the baton. And I think that made a profound difference in the work that we did in that first year for me to be able to pick up and lead the way. So I want to make sure, Klein, if you're listening, he gets
We're going to
credit
make
for
sure that
that.
we, yeah, we're
He
going to
gets a lot
tag,
of credit.
tag Klein. Definitely,
The work
definitely.
we did in that interim year was really critical, I think, to beginning to reset Phoenix College. And we are just accelerating forward with the work of our students, and the chaos has calmed.
Yeah.
And moving forward in unison allows us to really focus on the work. That's not to say that, we don't have normal everyday work situations that we have to deal with. But, one of my faculty leaders says, we have a Camelot here. And he says, Britt, stay out of convertibles. But we do. We have a little, it's funny, right? It's good.
That is funny.
Um,
That is funny.
but it's true. We do have a little bit of a Camelot, and I'm very proud of that. But it takes my full team to have that. It's all of us working together, and I'm thankful for the chancellor for giving me this opportunity and believing in me. But I'm also thankful for this team for choosing me. They chose me. I needed them, and they needed me, and it has really been just this beautiful pairing.
Well, Britt, can I go? Britt, we're going with
Yeah,
Britt.
that's what they call me
There it
here, and
is.
I love it.
There it is. You manage when you must, and
Yeah.
then at all other times you empower.
Oh,
And I,
yes,
I think you're
absolutely.
you're again emblematic of you were given the opportunity to lead, which is, I think, synonymous with empowering all that is already there, right? The values that you've created, the new mental models. I want you to brag away a little bit in the time that we have remaining. I've been on your campus. I've gotten lost more than once. It's a big place, and it's on the grow, right? I want you to
Yeah.
brag away. What are some of the most exciting initiatives that you have currently underway at PC?
Well, we have joined the Achieving the Dream Network, and we are in our first year with the network. That was a decision we made after earning the Seal of Excellencia. And so that is a massive transformational piece of work. I describe it as being in the honors college of student success work. We're
Right.
very proud of that. We are doubling down on our student success work here at PC. The reason I'm so proud of it is we just had our visit last week with our coaches. And, we just the number of faculty and students who are participating in this work. It is a college-wide immersive effort. So I'm really proud of that. We recently launched our 2 bachelor's degrees, and the enrollment is through the roof, especially in our information systems technology degree. We're now working with top industry in the Phoenix area. World headquarters and international headquarters for major companies to build work-based experience opportunities for our students. And, being located here in Phoenix, which is just a booming mecca
I
right
think it's the
now,
fastest growing city, not on the
it
planet, but definitely in the US.
it
And
is. And so we have a lot of industry coming in. My liaison and my president advisory council is really packed with major, some significant players in business and industry, and our students will be the benefactor of that. When I couple that with the work that I'm doing with Achieving the Dream to make sure that our programs have a significant ROI for our students, that we're really lifting them out of poverty, that there's a tremendous ROI for them when they leave here. So we're really being conscientious and thoughtful about our programming, how we're laying out those academic programs to ensure that our students, you mentioned, the students that we serve. Of the 10 Maricopa colleges, Phoenix College has the most socioeconomic disadvantaged students in Maricopa County,
What
because
a
we're
wonderful
here in.
opportunity. What a
Yes,
wonderful opportunity. Yeah.
yes. And, our retention metrics match, and some KPIs exceed our sister institutions. So, in some regard, we have a higher hill to climb, and we're climbing it in terms of getting our students through and retaining them. And we're really proud of that at PC. We're proud of our sister institutions, but we know that our students have more challenges when they come to us. And we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we have the resources that we can to support them. We've been very fortunate because we've gotten some pretty substantial grants to support our students. We've also had some serious partnerships with the city of Phoenix that have paid off to ensure that our students, that we're closing that digital divide. We
Good.
have students who, even though we're in the heart of Phoenix, who don't have access to the technology that they need to be able to learn. And the pandemic showed us that. And so we've partnered with the city of Phoenix to make sure our students have access to the technology, so they have access to education. And we know that many institutions throughout the nation have battled that as well. So you'll be seeing some national press here pretty soon on
Can't
the
wait.
success of
Tune
that
in,
program.
folks.
So
Honestly, this is the
lots of
campus. Keep them
lots
on
of
the watch.
really good things to spotlight and talk about at Phoenix College. I could brag on our faculty and our staff all day long, Joe.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary place, and by the grace of God, I landed here, and
Oh,
it's just a
woo!
wonderful opportunity.
Well, you are bright shining. You're bright shining light, and your peers are tuned in right now, and many of them, most of them, all of them. Let's just be honest. They're running fast, just like you are. They're
Absolutely.
managing things that they must manage, and trying to create cultures of empowerment, and closing gaps, and creating new partnerships, and dealing with just crisis moments that just pop up when as curveballs, but and also I think just trying to build hope,
Yep.
right? We've had, I think, a tough month. I think we've got some tough months ahead. So in the closing moments that we have here, maybe a closing thought, or maybe some wisdom or some encouragement for a leader that might not be thinking, I have what it takes to come into a new experience like you did 4 years ago, right? Breathe some of that Brit confidence into that leader today as we close out.
I think the key to being successful, particularly when you enter a new space, much like I did when you pack up and move across the country, and you never expected that you would pack up and move across the country to a city you've never seen, you've never been to. If you ever find yourself in that situation, like I did, the key to succeeding is listening. And the key to succeeding is authenticity and humility, and
Hmm.
being real and genuine. I quote one of my favorite leaders who I brought in as a vice president for academic affairs, and I've now passed him off to be an interim president. The key to being a good leader is showing up, being present, being engaged, listening, and just don't be an asshole.
We might have to beep that out, but no, maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. Uh, right there, punctuation mark.
Yeah.
Wow, Kimberly, thank you, thank you. We've covered just a smidge. We're going to bring you back on. All that is good and productive will continue to grow, and you're going to have some more stories to brag about in the very near future. Um, like to encourage all of our viewers out there to keep PC on the watch as a campus, really modeling the way. Again, not just moving furniture around, but doing things the right way for the right reasons, right? You can find them at phoenixcollege.edu. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So keep them on the watch. To our viewers, thanks for joining us. This has been the show with Joe, reminding you that everyone deserves to live in a community served by healthy leaders like this amazing individual, right? Who are building healthy teams and leading highly reliable systems. Hey, before we wrap up, if you found any value in today's conversation, please take a moment. Do what the kids do or say we need to do, right? To support the cause, hit the like button, leave a comment, share the episode with a friend. Visit the YouTube channel. We've just started a YouTube channel for previous episodes that you can tune into. We will link that information into the show notes because your engagement really helps us to reach more and more leaders across the bridge that are helping to bring valuable content to you. And we're bringing, as you can see, some of the greatest minds leading systems across America. Until next time, this is Dr. Joe on purpose to cancel any and all things average. Peace, friends, and press on.